Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So guys, today we're going to discuss something quite interesting. Yeah, we're going to discuss my experiences during pregnancy. I don't know how your own was, but I'm going to tell you guys how my own was. 4 pregnancies, 5 children. Yes, I actually had twins, so it was 4 pregnancies with 5 children. So I'm going to tell you guys the differences between the symptoms that I had, the experiences I had on each of those pregnancies. So let's start from my first child. Yeah, first child, immediately took in. I had some nausea. That was my worst nightmare. That thing dealt with me. As in, I'll feel like vomiting, but I cannot. Sometimes I even try to force it, put my finger into my throat just for me to vomit it. No way, the thing is not coming out. No matter how hard I try. I envy people who vomit. Seriously, I prefer it because once you vomit, you feel more comfortable, feel more okay. But this one, you feel like throwing up, and yet the thing is not coming out. You just be so restless, so uncomfortable. It's really annoying. So nausea dealt with me. I was always feeling as if I'm having malaria, a kind of as if I'm sick to the point that I think in my first pregnancy, even before I noticed that I was pregnant, I had already gotten a malaria drug because I was feeling sick. I didn't know what the problem was, so I took malaria drugs. As God may have it, nothing happened to the baby, it didn't affect the baby. So it was even late I found out I was actually pregnant and I was on drugs, busy taking malaria drugs. Oh, but thank God nothing happened to the baby. The baby was okay. So I was always feeling sick. That happened. That one lingered for like almost 5 months. I was always feeling sick. It wasn't a good one at all. So another one was constant headache. I was always having headache, but not so severe like that, like my other pregnancies. This one was just like minor. It was after then that I now noticed the one that you can say, yeah, this is actually headache. So I had these experiences. I think these are the three major experiences I had, but actually they dealt with me, especially that feeling sick. That thing lingered for a long time, almost 5 months. So that's by the way. So during delivery, I think the level started around that kind 4 a.m. in the morning. So you see, they allowed me to sit down. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sit. I couldn't do anything. I was just walking from one end to the other in the house. And I didn't want to go to the hospital early so that they will not induce me and all that. So I wanted to take my time, let the level become very serious. Then I'll go that. I will not need to waste time in the hospital before I'll deliver my baby. So I took my time. I was just managing at home, walking from one end to the other, walking from one end to the other. Wasn't an easy one. Oh, the same day I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sit down. That's how I was just walking around. So from that 4 a.m., the labor continued until around, I think we left the house around past 5 in the evening. So my husband took me to the hospital around past 5. We got to the hospital about 5 minutes to 6. That's 5:55. That was when we got to the hospital. And around 6:25, my little princess arrived. Hmm. You know what? Next week is going to make her 13 years. Yeah, 13 years. This month is her birth month. So I think I'm going to do a video with her as well. Just to show you guys. She's not a big girl, oh. She's a big girl now. So next week will make her 16. So my little princess arrived. That was my first experience. Then for my second experience, yes, I also had nausea. I also had headache, always feeling sick and all that. Yes, I also experienced all those things. Um, but it was much more severe than the previous one. It was much severe than the previous one. The previous one was just like, minor symptoms and the rest, but this one, it was so much. Hmm. And there's another thing I noticed in this particular one. That's why I told people that the first one might not be exactly like the second one. There must be a kind of some difference between them. But I know that there are people that experience the same thing. It's possible, yeah, during their, but mine, there was always something that will show that this one is different from the previous one you had. So just like that. So another thing I noticed that I never noticed on the previous pregnancy during this time around was that I was always perceiving things. As in, I perceive things so easily. Everything I must perceive. And I now dislike anything like meat. In fact, anytime I want to cook and I will need to cook my meat, I will just need to put everything inside a pot, put it on the fire. I'll just tell my girl, take care of this. And I'll have to leave the place entirely, leave the kitchen for her to take care of it. If not, I won't feel comfortable because I was so irritated by any smell from meat, any kind of, especially when it is boiling on the fire. Couldn't stand it. I wasn't eating meat. I wasn't eating fish. Was just little. I would just manage. Hmm. All I was eating was just periwinkle. Periwinkle was just like my all and all. So even when I use meat, cooking soup, I would just pack all of them one side and focus on periwinkle. I would just be enjoying my periwinkle. Pregnancy not be anybody made so seriously. So see me that love meat, like say tomorrow no day. You can imagine. Pregnancy made me, I hated meat, anything like meat. I don't even go near it at all. Hmm. So that was it. So I was always perceiving things. Ah, to even spray perfume, I that one I desisted that I must do that. No matter what, I'm not going to stop applying or spraying my perfume. Say because of what? So I just have to manage to use my perfume, rub my cream and all that. But I always perceive things and I wasn't always comfortable with perceiving those things. But I had no choice. So that was it. Then during delivery, I think the labor started around 4 a.m. as well. This one was on a Sunday morning. Yeah, I could remember. It was on a Sunday morning. So they're between 4 a.m. So I now managed, it was coming and coming. I now managed till around 8. Yeah, around 8. My husband, because my husband was supposed to be in church. So he had to drop me in the hospital around that 8. So from there he left for the church. Around I think 8:30 to 9. I put to bed. So that one didn't even take much time. The level didn't last for a long time, just like a previous one. Yes, I always hear this that first pregnancy, the level takes much longer than the ones that will come later. So that was it. So it was just between that 4 a.m. to past 9. My baby was out. So that was it. Then my third experience was my twin. Don't be small matter. It was just like all those experiences, the nausea, the vomiting, feeling like vomiting, feeling sick, and the rest of them. It was as if all of them were tripled. It was as if they were tripled. As in, the thing was just so severe. And there is another thing I noticed that I never noticed in my previous pregnancies. The first two, I never noticed those ones. Heartburn. Hmm. Heartburn dealt with me. That thing dealt with me. As in, they will be like, doctors will tell me, okay, take milk, always take milk, it will subside for where it doesn't even subside it. No matter the quantity of milk I take, as in liquid milk, it doesn't subside it. They gave me this, is it Gestige, something like that. Still, it didn't just, it will just give me a little relief, but it doesn't stop it. Guys, no be small matter. That's not really worried me. It really, really worried me. Heartburn was a serious issue for me then. So another thing I noticed was, yes, the constant headache that increased. It was much more severe. The nausea and the rest of them were more severe than the previous ones. And then another thing I also noticed is I find it so difficult to sleep at night. Yeah, I find it so difficult to sleep at night. As in, it was a serious one, especially when I was getting to, I think, 6, 7 months, nine. Hmm. To sleep was so difficult for me. If I turn this side, no, I turn this side. It was so difficult and uncomfortable for me that most times after, you know, trying all through the night to sleep, if I'm not able to sleep, I wake up in the morning, my head will be so full, and the headache. I don't know whether that was what made the headache to be like triple of the previous ones I normally have. As in, the headache was so much, my head would be so heavy. And one thing about me is that I'm not the type that sleeps in the afternoon, as in the daytime. It's difficult. Even while I'm pregnant, I hardly sleep in the afternoon. I don't. No matter, I can only lie down, rest for a while, but for me to sleep, I don't know why it is. And I really envy people that sleep. I envy people that sleep during the daytime. Seriously, I envy them a lot. Not for me. I don't know why. I was even thinking that when I'll start having children, when I will be pregnant, I will start sleeping. But for year, I never experienced that. I don't sleep in the daytime. So whenever I don't sleep at night like that, the whole thing will just fill my head. I will be so uncomfortable, so much headache. I was so restless then. I was so uncomfortable. I wasn't sleeping well. So I think that's the major experience I had with my twin, apart from the nausea and the rest of them that I normally feel. That I told you that it's as if they tripled. So sleepless night. And then there's this craving for odara. That is what do they call it? Star apple, yeah. Star apple, I really crave for it during this pregnancy. Once I enter the market, my customers already know me. They will just select the ones that they know that I will need. I'll just buy them in bulk like that, come home and enjoy them. I really took a lot of it. Star apple, that was my best fruit then. I was always craving for it. That sometimes, even while I'm driving out or I'm going somewhere, I see them along the road, people that are selling it. I'll just have to stop, park the car, and get some for myself. Okay. So I crave for it a lot. I crave for star apple a lot. I took a lot of it that time. So that was it. So during the labor as well, I think the labor started around 10, 11 a.m. in the morning. It was on a Tuesday. Yeah, it was on a Tuesday. Started out between that 10, 11 in the morning. That was when the labor started. And around 12, 1, okay, around 1, we now went to the hospital. It was now becoming or coming regularly. So we went to the hospital around 1. Then around 2:05, that's 5 minutes past 2, my first baby came out. Then around 2:15, second one came out. That's 10 minutes interval. I think, yeah, 10 minutes interval. The first one came out 5 minutes past 2. The second one came out 15 past 2. So that was it with my third pregnancy. Then my last baby. That one was also different. A kind of, I know that there's this major experience I had that I never had in the previous ones. I also had nausea. Always feel like vomiting. I always feel like I'm sick and the rest of them. But this time around, those ones were not really so severe. They were not really so severe. But there's this experience I had, and that was most times when I'm brushing my teeth in the morning, I'm brushing. I'll find out that when I try to spit out the toothpaste in my mouth, I see blood coming out together with the whole thing. But if I check my mouth, no wound anywhere. Can't find any wound anywhere in my mouth, in my gum, in any part of my mouth. No wound at all. And yet, when I'm brushing, I'm seeing blood coming out. So initially, I got worried, and when I complained to my daughter, they say no, it's part of pregnancy signs that some people experience it. So I got relaxed. So I didn't bother myself about that. So that was another a different experience I had. And then I was having big pimples. It was so big on my face like this, as in as if it is boiled. As if it is boiled. The thing was so big on my face. Another one is that I became so dark. Yes, I know that in my previous pregnancies, I was little darker than my usual color. But this time around, I was so dark. I mean, whoa. I don't know whether you understand this my language. It simply means I was very ugly. So I was so dark, darker than usual. So that is it. So all these things were experienced. And there's another thing I crave for, and that was party jollof rice. Hey, oh my God. Not all about the party jollof rice, but the burnt side, the under, the bottom part. That was what I was just craving for. That most times, even when I didn't cook jollof rice in my house, I'll have to send somebody to go to all these roadside vendors to go and get jollof rice for me. Look at me that hardly buy things outside. I'll have to send someone to go and get some for me just to eat and quench the urge to have jollof rice, bottle jollof rice. So it was that serious that I was always craving it. I think throughout that pregnancy, throughout till I put to bed, I was always craving for jollof rice. Sometimes I would just want to, after cooking jollof rice in the house, I'll just allow it to get burnt. I'll concentrate on that downside, down bottom side. That is just where I want. Oh my God. So then that was my experience. So it wasn't an easy one. Pregnancy not be anybody made, so I'm telling you the truth. You will not say that I'm an expert in this area, I'm a professor in this area, so whatever I experienced in this one, that is how it will be. No, there is always a difference. There's always a you must definitely have or experience something quite different from the previous ones. And this my last one. In fact, everything was just I say, if you say me, well, like, to even brush, I'll be like, what is this? I don't understand what is going on with me. Why will I be spitting out blood while brushing? And yet I cannot feel pains. All those kind of things, I would just be like, but that is it. I know another experience I had during that my last baby is that I had a kind of high blood pressure. I was always having issue with my BP. So I experienced high blood pressure during that time. Almost all through the pregnancy, it was always maybe 130, 140, and all that. But before now, I never experienced anything like high blood pressure. But I noticed that while I was pregnant with this last baby, I experienced it. So that is it. And the funny aspect of it, after delivery, the whole thing left. I've never experienced that high blood pressure again. That's to show you that those things are just part of pregnancy. You can just those things that can just come up. Yes, I know that there are people that normally they have this high blood pressure, and during pregnancy, it will be as if the thing now increased more. But most times, there are a lot of people who experience it during pregnancy, but after that or after the pregnancy they will become normal again. That's just my experience. So since after that pregnancy I gave birth to my last baby, I've never experienced anything like high blood pressure. But throughout that pregnancy it was always 130, 135, 140, and all that. I would be like, where is this one coming from? I've never experienced this before. So the doctor would be like, just forget it, since we were not experiencing it. It's part of pregnancy wahala. So that is it. So after my delivery, everything stopped till today. So that's it. So guys, these were my experiences for these 4 pregnancies with 5 children. I don't know whether you had similar experience as well. If you had similar experience, you can comment on the comment section. Or if your own is different, you are also free to comment on the comment section. Let's continue from there. So guys, I'm stopping it here for now. Please Do remember to subscribe to my channel, like, comment, and share this video. And please turn on your notification button to always know when I drop a video. I will appreciate. So guys, thanks for your time. I really appreciate. Bye for now.